Alright friends, we are just on the cusp of October, finally. The leaves are turning, they're getting all crunchy, it's dull, it's windy, it's dark outside, best time of year, but it also means that I have to pick some new reads for the coming month. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first book I'm picking off my shelves is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I read Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik a couple of winters ago and really loved it, and I have been told that this is kind of on a similar vein, even though it's a completely different book, but I feel like this is like the autumnal version of Spinning Silver. But more importantly, on the front it's actually endorsed by Robin Hobb. She says it is enchanting in every sense, and if you know me and Robin Hobb, you know. What is this book about? Don't ask me, let's go to the back of the book. So Agnieszka loves her village set deep in a peaceful valley, but the nearby enchanted forest casts a shadow over her home. Many have been lost to the wood and none return unchanged. The villagers depend on an ageless wizard, the dragon, to protect them from the forest's dark magic. However, his help comes at a terrible price. A young village woman must serve him for 10 years, leaving all she values behind. Bit of a Leonardo DiCaprio situation going on here. Once she hits over 25, is it? Agnieszka fears her dearest friend Kasia will be picked at the next choosing, for she's everything Agnieszka is not. Beautiful, graceful and brave. Yet, when the dragon comes, it's not Kasia he takes. Well, I feel like we all know who it is that he takes. I love books that feel very magical, mythical and kind of fairy tale-esque, and this book sounds like it is going to be right up my street, and it feels exactly like the right time of year to pick it up. Next up then is a middle grade book that I have been threatening to read for the past few autumns, and for some reason just have not picked it up in spite of always seeing such great reviews for it, and that book of course is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I feel like this one has kind of similar tropes to Uprooted in that there's a girl left as tribute in this one, I believe. So every year the people of the protectorate leave a baby as a sacrifice to the witch who lives in the forest, but the witch Zan is a kind one. She rescues the children and delivers them to welcoming families on the other side of the forest, nourishing the babies with starlight on the journey. But one year, Zan accidentally feeds a baby moonlight instead of starlight, filling the ordinary child with extraordinary magic. Zan decides she must raise this girl, whom she calls Luna, as her own. As Luna's 13th birthday approaches, her magic begins to emerge with dangerous and thrilling consequences. This just sounds so cozy and sweet, and I promise that this is a book I'm going to pick up in October. It is definitely time. Next up then, we're going for a lovely sweet little wholesome middle grade to what I believe is a very bleak adult thriller, and that is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. So I actually only bought this book recently, kind of on a whim. I've heard it is incredibly dark and difficult to read, and honestly it kind of sounds exactly like what I'm in the mood for lately. So what is this book actually about? 20 years ago, Claire and Lydia Scott's older sister vanished without a trace. Her disappearance had a devastating effect on their family. Now another teenage girl is missing, and the circumstances of her disappearance are hauntingly similar. It's up to Lydia and Claire to revisit their past, unearthing the secrets that destroyed their family all those years ago. But will they be able to face what they find along the way? So it doesn't really give a whole lot away. I've literally never read a Karen Slaughter book, and I feel like she is just everywhere. She's probably at this stage, by my estimation, written about a bajillion books. I feel like that's pretty accurate. This is going to be my first foray into her reads. If you have any other suggestions of books from her that you think I should pick up, do let me know. Next up then is a book that I believe is not rated very high on Goodreads, but for some reason it's just a book that I really want to read, and I think it's probably because of the cover. And the book is She Is Haunting, and it is written by Trang Than Tran. I just really love this cover. I think it's really beautiful, even if it is a bit kind of creepy. Book covers can contain multitudes. I remember hearing that this book wasn't great after I'd received it as a gift, but yet I feel drawn to it, and I said, look, the word haunting is literally in the cover, so that means it's definitely an October read. I also believe that this is a book that has a bit of a creepy haunted house vibe about it, and lately I just feel like I want all these gothic mansion haunted house type books. I just want to read them all. Maybe potentially this might hit the mark for that. This summer, Jade Nguyen has one goal: to survive living a lie with her sister and their estranged dad while he fixes up a decaying colonial house in Vietnam. If she can be straight enough, Vietnamese enough, American enough, then college and freedom will be hers. But the house has other plans. Dead bugs line its windowsills and its gardens grow monstrous blooms. Then the ghost of a beautiful bride gives Jade a cryptic warning: don't eat. With the help of rebellious local girl Florence, Jade is determined to prove the house is haunted and that it won't rest until it consumes her family completely. So yeah, I was right. It is a bit of a haunted house one. If you have any gothic or haunted house book recommendations, as always, please send them my way. Next up then is a book that's notorious as a read, particularly for this time of year. I feel like this author writes so many books that are just perfect for the autumn, and this one seems to be their sort of best known, most well loved book, and that is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. So I believe that I will be able to listen to this book on audiobook in the coming month, but I do have the physical copy. After years of seeing her sisters suffer at the hands of an abusive prince, Mara, the shy, convent-raised third-born daughter, has finally realised that no one is coming to their rescue. No one except for Mara herself. Seeking help from a powerful grave witch, Mara is offered the tools to kill a prince if she can complete 3 impossible tasks. But as is the way in tales of princes, witches and daughters, the impossible is only the beginning. On her quest, Mara is joined by the grave witch, a reluctant fairy godmother, a strapping former knight, because of course, and a chicken possessed by a demon. Together, the 5 of them intend to be the hand that closes around the throat of the prince and frees Mara's family and their kingdom from its tyrannous ruler at last. That sounds perfect. Again, it sounds quite fairy tale-esque, very much up my street, very much what I've been looking for lately. I have really high hopes for this book. I have never read a T. Kingfisher book before, or shall I say I've never finished a T. Kingfisher book before. So if you have any suggestions of where to go from here or what your favourite T. Kingfisher books are, please let me know in the box below. And of course, next up then we have a book that is the beginning of a series, and I feel like this book in particular is absolutely notorious. There's a film, there's a TV series, and of course I've never watched any of them and I don't really know a whole lot about the book. And that book, of course, is Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. This is absolutely new to me. I'm like, are we interviewing for a job here? What's the story? What's happening? According to the back, in a darkened room, the boy sits waiting for the story to begin. His companion is a young man cloaked in shadow, his voice low and soft. Only the pure white of his collar is visible in the gloom. The story of this man's life is about to be told, a story of a vampire facing the dark stretch of eternity, cursed with an exquisite craving for human blood. I mean, I feel like that gives absolutely nothing away, which is probably for the best. I kind of like going into books relatively blind, and I feel like I have no idea where this book is going to go. I've heard it's incredibly compulsive. It's a great read. I really look forward to picking it up. This book was first published in Great Britain in 1976. It's been floating around a while, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up. I was gifted it toward the end of last year and I've been saving it for this October. Next up then is a book that I feel like will probably take the most of my time and attention of any book next month, and that is because this book is over 720 pages, and that book is Our Share of Night by Mariana Esquives. So this book is massive, and I would be intimidated by it if I hadn't heard from multiple sources that this book is really great. So I think Mariana Esquives wrote The Dangers of Smoking in Bed as well, which is a book of short stories, and it's one that was on my radar and that I really wanted to read, but I've yet to actually pick up. But this is one long chunk of a story as far as I know. Casper is 6 years old when the Order first come for him. For years they've exploited his father's ability to commune with the dead and the demonic, presiding over macabre rituals where the unwanted and the disappeared are tortured and executed, sacrificed to the darkness with a capital D. Now they want a successor. Nothing will stop the Order, nothing is beyond them. Surrounded by horrors, can Casper break free? Spanning the brutal decades of Argentina's military dictatorship and its aftermath, Our Share of Night is a haunting, thrilling novel of broken families, cursed inheritances, and the sacrifices a father will make to help his son escape his destiny. that sounds absolutely 100% up my street. I love family sagas. I love stories that are multi-generational. I love stories that are set over a long period of time. And I love a long book that you can really just get your teeth into and sink into over a bit of a chunk of time, so you feel like you've actually spent time with the characters by the time you're finished. I'm so excited for this one. I think every time I mention this book, people always say in the comments like, this is a great book. And I feel like October is just high time for me to pick up this book. And then of course, last but absolutely not least, is a book that was so hyped when it was published that I went out and I bought it immediately. This is a series written by a trans author, and the first book in this series is Her Majesty's Royal Coven. I honestly cannot tell you why I haven't picked this book up yet. Again, it's one of those books that everybody speaks really highly of that's read it, and it feels like, again, it's just high time that I pick it up. It's interesting because when I look at my shelves, I feel like there's nothing on there that I want to read, but then when I actually go through and pick out books individually, I often feel baffled at the fact that I haven't yet read a lot of these books. So this challenge to actually reduce my TBR has been really great, because these books I've actually bought for myself as a gift for myself, as books that I think I will enjoy. So I'm really delighted to actually this year finally be getting around to them. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. This book, so known as Her Majesty's Royal Coven, they protect crown and country from magical forces and otherworldly evil, but their greatest enemy will come from within. There are whisperings of a prophecy that will bring the coven to its knees, and four best friends are about to be caught at the centre. My cat is literally bawling outside the door. She's got dementia. She's not being tortured, I promise. She just shouts a lot. Will Helena, Niamh, Leonie and Elle be able to stop the prophecy before it's too late? Or will the differences that have seen them grow apart since childhood be too great to overcome? Life as a modern witch was never simple, but now it's about to get apocalyptic. So it's a book about witches again, and I feel like I've been reading a lot of those lately. I feel like I've been really geared towards them. It's the time of year, I'm a seasonal reader, and it's just time for me to pick this book up. I've heard nothing but excellent things about it. And so friends, that is that. Those are all of the books that I've picked out for myself from my shelves to read in the month of October. I feel like October is probably my favorite reading month of the whole year. I'm very much a seasonal reader, and I love reading kind of creepy, spooky, fantastical, magical books this time of year. I love cozying up. The evenings are getting darker. I'm just so happy that we're going into October finally. Let me know what you're planning to pick up yourself for the coming month. Are there any books on this list that you have read? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you want to see how I get on with all of these books, don't forget to subscribe. You know where to find me then. And of course, pals, as ever, I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being here, and I will chat to you next week in another video. Bye bye.